What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. I think what you were saying earlier, though, about people saying you kind of paint yourself into a box with the hardtail thing, I think on the other hand, though, it really sets you up in a way when you're reaching out to vendors and saying, like, hey, first of all, I'm asking for a hardtail. Probably not many people are asking for that.
Right.
So
I'm not asking for their $10,000 bike that's got the latest and greatest. I'm asking for their $2,000 bike. Yeah.
Right. And the fact that, like, you have such a centralized audience, like, it's definitely going to equate to, like, sales or clicks or whatever, you know, not to get too much in the business side of YouTube, but that's what they want to see when they want to send you a bike. Like,
yeah, it's getting easier and easier to convince companies to send me bikes because most of my viewers are hardtail fans. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them come just because they like the way I explain things and they learn things and a lot of what I do translates to full suspension as well. Mm-hmm. But the reviews, particularly, we really just focus on the hardtails. But yeah, it's an easy pitch to make to say, hey, I have 20,000 hardtail riders. Yeah. No one else has that, you know?
Right, right.
Or they won't admit it, at least. I'm sure Seth does, but it's a very targeted and specific audience, and I was very intentional when I made the channel for that reason, because no one was really doing the hardtail thing, and no one's really. I mean, Pink Bike just did a podcast on hardtails, and it should have been called the anti-hardtail episode because they just kind of ragged on hardtails the whole time.
That's interesting.
And it was just interesting to see that, you know, there aren't a lot of champions for the hardtail out there, and some of these guys that are reviewing hardtails have only been on 2 hardtails in the past 10 years. And so how can you really compare it to some of the other stuff? So yeah, it's a weird niche. Like, I'm not asking for the latest and greatest flagship models from these companies. And we're seeing a resurgence in hardtails too. And I think a lot of people are realizing, dang, you know, some people are choosing hardtails by choice, not just because they have a low budget.
Yeah, I think there's 2 things that play into that. Let's see if yours are the same, but I think there's 2 things. For whatever reason, everybody went like crazy big on their full suspension bikes. Like, I am still scratching my head why, like, a bike like the Mega Tower is so popular. Like, I see that on trails that we were riding, you know, 130 mil bikes on not too long ago and not having a problem with. And now these people are riding these like 170, 180 rigs. So I feel like that's part of the reason, because people are riding these huge bikes, they started realizing that they're overgunned, or they made their trails a little more boring because now you just run into everything. So they're looking for some excitement there. I forget what my second reason was. I think that was it, really. I mean, I really think that, like, there was 2, but I can't remember what the other one is.
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
No, but I agree. And, you know, marketing works. And we see all our enduro heroes riding these massive bikes. And we look on Instagram, and all the bling builds are, you know, these $15,000 enduro sleds. And they just have the coolness factor. And it influences what people buy. And I also think big, squishy bikes allow you to ride black diamonds that you might have struggled on your 130 bike. And so the bike can make you feel like a better rider. And so you're like, yeah, all I had to do was purchase something, and now I can ride stuff I could never ride before. Yeah. And so I think that appeals to a lot of people. Or they hop on a buddies and take a test ride, and they're like, wow, I could just run right into that curb and I didn't even feel it. That's so cool. And then after time, you're like, I kind of miss feeling that curb, or I kind of miss feeling the trail a little more.
If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.